when you were younger, the thought of sitting still and closing your eyes probably seemed like that would be pretty terrible. You'd have to tie me down and blindfold me to do that. So much to do. Moving is fun. But now, that's the exciting stuff. What you can experience in this inner world is just as beautiful, actually maybe more vibrant in some ways than what you can experience through the eyes and the ears and the tongue and the nose. And what you used to love to do, like I used to love to climb trees. I haven't climbed a tree in a very long time. To me, that seems like probably dangerous and and strenuous, and I have no interest in it. Now, this brings up an interesting topic called renunciation. And I suppose that's a theme of the whole weekend, renunciation. Renunciation means you outgrow something. Something you used to want, you no longer want. Not even if they paid you, not if they gave it to you. It's just not the kind of thing you want anymore. It's not because it's expensive or inconvenient, no, it's something you don't want. That's it. You just don't want it. So what's an example of that? Something you used to want. But now if somebody gave it to you, you'd say, no thanks. A skateboard comes to mind. Those things, boy, those dangerous things. I couldn't do anything with that now. But I was in college when skateboards were invented, so that was a big thing for a while. But I was thinking more like one of those big SUV things. We have lots of them here in Tucson. Every other car seems to be these monsters, huge cars, like small trucks. They're like mega SUVs. You wonder how many miles they get to the gallon, I couldn't use one. I wouldn't want to feed it. So if somebody gave me one, I'd say, no thanks. Even though they're very expensive. So what is it for you? Smoking maybe comes to mind, right? Did you ever smoke? Was that a thing for a while? Was that really interesting? Really something you like to do? You still do that? I hope not. But it's not just things that weren't good for us. Even things that we liked. Have you changed your taste in music? Your taste in art? What you consider beautiful? So the point is that what transformation means and renunciation is that what you used to like is dead to you now. That's renunciation. The other half of it is what you couldn't have imagined being useful or interesting is now like a main interest, compelling activity. Maybe you were forced to play violin or piano when you were young, but now you pick it up freely. It's a great source of pleasure and joy. Things have cycles. So we talked about how the cells have cycles. Different cells have different cycles. You probably lost some skin cells in the shower this morning, but the cells in your retina, I read somewhere they're with you for your life. They're very hard to make, apparently. So they have to be long lasting. And all the other cells in your body are somewhere in between. They last from days to months to years. So there's cycles there. And we've talked about cycles of interests. And then what's interesting is, how do you control cycles? So that's where meditation comes in. By attuning ourselves to our breath and our heartbeat, we're getting in touch with these cycles. And we can measure things in terms of heart rate and breath rate. For example, your lifespan is measured in heartbeats, not in years. Isn't that interesting? So if your heart rate is higher, you're ticking off those beats. Years will go by quickly. You'll live less long. And if you're in good shape physically, your heart rate is lower, and you'll live longer on average. Exercise is interesting because exercise raises your heart rate. So now you're galloping along, but it tones you so that when you're not exercising, your heart rate goes lower. And overall, you save heartbeats by exercising. The science behind it, the biology behind it, says that overall, across the whole mammal spectrum, everybody who has a heartbeat, there's a formula that says, depending on the weight of the body, the heart rate is inverse to the weight. And the formula has a funny formula to it. It uses the 2/3 power of your weight in order to calculate your average heart rate. So little animals, little things with heartbeats like hummingbirds, they have a heartbeat of about 300 beats a minute. They hum, even their hearts are humming. But and our heart rate is around 60. But an elephant has a heart rate of 30. And so it's the bigger things go slower. And interestingly, that also applies to planets. The planet has a heartbeat. And since it's very large, its heartbeat is very small, right? You got that? Big things have small, slow heartbeats. Little things, fast heartbeats. And not only does the planet have a heartbeat, but stars have a heartbeat. There's a fluctuation in light, which is periodic and characteristic of the star. So you can identify a star by the pace of its so-called heartbeat, its variation in light. The light varies in a predictable way, in a stable pattern. So this, to call it a heartbeat, of course, is a bit of a stretch because they don't have things that circulate like we have hearts, but they have something else which circulates. I mean, for instance, the plasma in a star is circulating, and in the Earth, well, there's a circulation in the core, but but the magnetic field exists and is pulsing. So there's a very real sense of heartbeat, because, and very, very much like our heartbeat, because our heartbeat also generates a magnetic field, and the magnetic field pulsates.